In our special series, School Matters, as parents work to keep their kids' education on track, many are also focusing on their children's mental health. The American Academy of Pediatrics says that since the start of the pandemic in March, 14% of parents reported worsening behavioral health for their kids. Across the country, 73% of school districts offer social and emotional learning programs, which have now been linked to improved behavior, relationships, and your grades, too. Dr. Tara Narula reports those programs may be needed now more than ever.
Take a deep breath.
Jet Holmes starts every school day with a mantra.
May I be happy.
Along with reading, writing, and math, Jet is learning about feelings. It's all part of something called Ruler, a curriculum used at 2,500 schools around the country.
All emotions affect our attentional capacity.
Mark Brackett developed the program at Yale University.
Emotions matter for everything. If we can't manage our feelings, it's hard to be creative, and it's hard to focus.
In his book, Permission to Feel, Brackett outlines 5 steps for mastering emotions: recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, regulating.
Emotions are a lot more complex than just being like, oh, like I'm happy right now or I'm sad.
The hardest part is recognizing how you feel.
Ruler uses a color-coded tool to help students identify their feelings. We asked students from New York's Lab School to show us how it works.
When I'm feeling red, I feel like an intense anger and frustration.
When I'm feeling yellow, I feel super happy and I'm super energized.
Blue, sad and overwhelmed.
Green, tranquil and relaxed.
I Dream a World by Langston Hughes.
Because of the pandemic, Leslie Gill and her sister Lauren aren't able to practice the Ruler concepts as they usually do with their classmates.
You have to write about how you think the other person feels, so then you see the different perspectives, because you might be thinking that this person feels one way, but it's actually they feel like the opposite.
Excited, included.
It is very important for us to not assume how kids are feeling. We do that all the time. And what research shows is that we often make a lot of mistakes.
Why is social emotional learning so critical, particularly when we're living through a pandemic?
We're feeling the strongest emotions we might have ever had before. My research with children shows that they're frustrated, they're overwhelmed, they're anxious, they're bored, they're lonely.
Me and my brother will fight a lot, especially during quarantine. Stepping back and thinking about what I'm saying and how I'm feeling has definitely helped me.
I've been struggling, I've been stressed out. We're in a global pandemic. You don't have to be perfect.
Parents are also offered Ruler training to reinforce what their children learn at school.
First day out in over a month.
It's helping Jet and his family navigate the pandemic together.
As a male, I was kind of raised to not be emotional. These kids are being introduced at a young age, and they're able to define their feelings and their emotions. And it took me years of therapy to be able to say that.
What do you think parents could do a better job at in terms of talking to their kids about their emotions?
The best way to make teenagers feel comfortable opening up about their emotions is if you guys do the same. So I hope parents know that they can be vulnerable too.
We, as parents, don't have to have all the answers. We just have to be compassionate. We have to ask the questions and guide our children.
Dr. Tara Narula joins us now. Tara, this is such a great idea. I love what Jet's parents said. So many people are raised not to express their emotions. So what can parents do? Isn't it hard for them to sometimes know if their kids are struggling, and what can they do about that?
Absolutely, Gail, and it's so important. And we spoke to Dr. Brackett about that, who you saw in the piece, and there were a couple things he recommended. The first is really being a role model for your kids, that even when you think they're not listening and watching you, they are. They're seeing how you react to your anxieties, your stresses, your fears, and your mistakes. So you can be vulnerable, but you can also teach them strategies that are healthy to deal with their feelings. The second is, as he said, don't assume what your child is feeling. Behavior does not equal emotion. So just because your child looks looks calm doesn't mean they may be feeling that way. Just because your child storms out of the room and says, "I hate you, Mom," it may be that they're not really angry. Maybe they're disappointed at a failure that happened at school. Maybe they had a fight with their friend. So really important to sit down, talk to your kid, ask them how they're feeling, and listen to what they have to say.
So important. Thank you, Tara.